It's chat. Thank you so much for putting those KCPs in. You believe it? We gotta watch it happen though. Can KCP shut down the Ultimates? Find out in our first match.
Today we find out if the long shots can survive. Game 1 brought to you by Progressive on Manfield Night as we kick off our last NA Open Top 8. And Herc, JNAPS has saved his best for last, shooting a higher percentage than he ever has in a North American regional, but you still got to do it now against a very tough Ultimate squad.
If there is a time to prove those stats to be worth anything, it is in this particular series, because he wants to obviously make one last Champ Sunday if possible, and they're going to try their darnest as they've had pretty much the most pressure so far. First opening shot came out through Aqua. It was a great save there from First Killer as well. Transitions are quick and speedy today. First 30 seconds go scoreless, but like you said, all eyes for this series will stay on JNAPS.
We only know one North American team that will be in Birmingham at the end of this month. Just weird to think that March is already upon us as JNAPS right along the goal line can't stop LJ, and the Ultimate strike first.
This is a player you're always going to want to have your eyes on because he lurks everywhere. It is LJ. He saw that First Killer did the most he possibly could do in that situation, but he said, no, I will finish the dunk for you, my guy. Ultimates take the opening lead.
Well, JNAPS will throw one to the backboard. That's easily corralled by First Killer, and here come the Ultimates again. It's Chronic off the feed. He's got LJ in behind him, and Chronic's just going to stay with this play. Still has LJ waiting for a pass. They might eventually get there, but Aqua's going to boom that one away. Only as far as First Killer, bringing it right back in. And it's Pioneers having to weather an early storm from Ultimates. That one just wide, but the follow-up from JNAPS, who just keeps going.
This started so far in the back. You saw JNAPS and Aqua sitting so disgustingly far up in a place they should not have been, and Ultimates immediately recognized the space they had, and thankfully, of course, there was that second touch at the end on that one. But tied game now, Ultimates Pioneers, who's gonna regain that lead?
So weird seeing Ultimates in the lower bracket as JNAPS has that one popped away, or at least in the lower bracket to start the weekend. Eris with Aqua circling around. JNAPS also there. This goes to the opposite side. Aqua coming up as well. And that's just desperately off the back wall. No follow-up now. LJ, First Killer. Oh, what a save, but First Killer's there to dunk it back home.
This is peak communication. LJ was already up, but you saw him run out of boost, so First Killer said, here, pass it off. Let me get the little mini double on top of it. And it's, again, Ultimates have one of the best forms of communication and synchronicity when they are on it. And unfortunately for the Pioneers, this is a weekend that they are on.
JNAPS throwing that one up, looking for the feed to himself, and then Aqua able to put that on target. So Chronic has to send it away. JNAPS careful at the back. And Chronic got that one out to LJ, who was waiting for a pass, but he got demoed, and that's going to free it up for Eris to put it into the back of the net, and we're all tied up again.
These catch-outs are insane. I think it's coming from both ends of the field stacks where everybody's cheating up a little bit too much in these moments, but unfortunately for everyone, their opposition recognizes it immediately. It's a complete shootout right now. JNAPS off the kickoff tries to do the sidewall pass over to Aqua. Unfortunately for him, couldn't quite get there in time. Instead, it's a clear upfield for the Ultimates to try and follow through.
First Killer and LJ both crisscross in the air, but it's going to be Chronic that comes away with this ball. Needs one more touch, and he's not going to get it, but First Killer will take over. LJ with full tank of boost, waiting for a pass as well. And it's not going to get to him. Instead, it's coming back the other way. Chronic in a real awkward spot on the back wall as Eris wins the race to that corner boost, getting around LJ. He might even be able to turn on this ball, but First Killer should have it and does. Just past Eris. Chronic there as well. JNAPS shut him down.
Right now, the Ultimates are keeping one person up pretty far, just anticipating some sort of a catch. His First Killer got this one away from Aqua, falls to the hands of LJ, takes his time under one. Still in the corner, though. You see FK lurking in the center. Takes his time. He doesn't even need FK
Oh, this is brilliant from LJ. Just, I'm going up, nope, coming back down, go back over. Brilliant individual effort out of LJ. And the lead again for Ultimates. They just keep jumping in front, forcing Pioneers to play catch-up. JNaps is already way downfield, so LJ's got to bring that to his own back wall. Aqua trying to line up a double. JNaps is there, and he scores again!
He has another goal to add to the insane amount he has collected over the years, and this is an important one at that. You've got less than 2 minutes to go in a tied game, trying to keep that shootout going as the Ultimates are now next to try and respond.
Pioneers coming out of Group A yesterday. They're the only, when you look at the teams that are in these two groups, you look at what Ultimates had in their group, NRG, Space Station. So like, okay, small wonder they're in the lower bracket, but then you look at the elite company that JNaps is in, as Chronic will try to bring one across, and JNaps is up to meet him. The only other players that hit the 3 milestones that he hit for his score and goals and saves in his career. First killer, Justin, Garrett. They're all over in Group B. It really does make Group A look like the charity group in the grand scheme of things. But they have survived up to this point, and they have a chance to do maybe the funniest thing ever, at least this side of GK. As Eris has that one go deep into Ultimate's territory. JNaps trying to center for Aqua. Eris has to retreat. He's got nothing in the tank, and the Ultimates breathing down his neck.
For right now, I really do got to hand it to the Pioneers. They've been able to at least slow down the Ultimates, and as soon as I compliment them, the worst of the worst happens.
Yeah, Aqua, a little awkward there as LJ just used Aqua as a obstacle on the field to put that one in. A little bank shot off Aqua, and it's Ultimates in front again, but now only with 32 seconds. We've seen JNaps up a lot in this game. Another shot. Boy, tough save for first killer, and then Chronic coming in to disrupt the shot effort from JNaps. Aqua jumping into action. JNaps is there, but so is the entire Ultimates defense. The Pioneers have not been out of this game at any point. Now they've only got 10 seconds left in a back and forth affair. Aqua's going to bring it to his own back wall. Down to 5 seconds. Chronic slowed him down, maybe enough. Eris thrown at the backboard. Nobody's got any boost for Pioneers. First killer content to spike it down, and Ultimates win a very swingy game. Everybody would think they're going to be one of the 4 teams in Birmingham representing North America. They do have some work to do, or if not, a couple things to go their way. They're off to a good start here, though, winning the first game, and now we're off and running for game 2.
It's just one step in the right direction for the Ultimates, but I love the talk on LJ. I think LJ is one of the better, but Eris is putting his name up in contention. A player who is a young gun, Aqua, he left this one out in the corner. It kind of just got away from himself, and Eris saw moment of opportunity to give them a lead in the first 14.
Aqua also able to take first killer out of the play there. That bump putting him down on the ground and really just completely threw off the defense for the Ultimates. And so it's Pioneers who strike first. How long will that lead last? JNaps there to stop first killer. He doesn't have anything in the tank at all, but Eris does, and he can bring this downfield. Aqua behind him. JNaps running forward again. Oh, a double from Eris, and that somehow does not go in. Absolute robbery from the Ultimates defense.
Oh, he almost looked like Superman for a second there and did it all himself, and now you just gotta hold on to that feeling. You can't let that deflate you in any way at all, but you're coming down to this first minute. This one hasn't been as back and forth as we've seen in the last game here. Instead, it's Ultimate struggling just a tiny bit to break out and stay out into that orange half, although this one floats in front. Chronic has opportunity, and it's in.
Everything LJ touches turns to gold, falling from the ceiling, able to bank that off the side. Chronic there, right place, right time. Nobody expected that ball to go over there. 1-1 as LJ again puts his mark on this series.
And that's a player that you really want to have step up if you are an Ultimates fan, because he is capable of so much. And when all three members of the Ultimates are playing on the same level, it is a nasty challenge to try and stop them. But for now, Pioneers taking a few shots of their own. You saw the first one, but the second, the pass over to JNAPS finds a nice little slot in that bottom left.
JNAPS strikes again. I mentioned his shooting percentage comes into the day at almost 35%. Now, shooting percentage, one of those stats that you kind of look at and go, okay, it cannot always tell the whole story. But again, a higher number than he's ever finished a regional with. You expect it to go down because those are superhuman numbers. Nobody ever maintains that. But again, for his last ever event, pulling out all the stops, and this is, you know, peak JNAPS right now that has Pioneers in front in game 2.
I mean, it's like you said, though, when you know it's the end or nearing the end, you are throwing everything out there. And teammates might have been onto something. There's going to be something in the water, a little bit of a different approach to this game here. But JNAPS on no boost still manages to stop Chronic's shot. Eris up next, not quite as successful as the 50 goes to Chronic. The touchback to first, and 2-2 on the board.
Oh, Chronic again. Over across the field after a great challenge by First Killer. And Aqua didn't have a chance whether First Killer touched it or not. That was going in, and we're all tied up again.
For a while, it's kind of been a question of how many of these underdog teams are actually going to be able to create an upset. And of course, after last week's stacks, with watching GK pull off what was literally deemed a less than 3% chance towards impossible, Pioneers, they're trying their darnest to at least end this in some sort of an upset. Again, it's a tied game, which is a good position to be as you enter the second half right here. But First Killer's touch goes forward, and Chronic's going to collect it. Maybe he can send it back to somebody here. Tries to go for the sneaky waterfall, but Aqua was there for the backup.
Oh, LJ getting that back to Chronic, disrupting the kind of slow-moving Pioneers attack. And JNAP's just going to bow out of this play. Aqua diving in, and Eris has nothing in the tank. This could be trouble for Pioneers, but JNAP's will boom it right back across the center line. And Chronic with the save, falling towards his own crossbar. That had potential to be really hairy for the Pioneers defense. Saw them getting maybe just a little overextended there. But JNAPS wisely went back, grabbed the boost, and now LJ forces that one through. And as great as JNAPS has been this weekend, LJ is overshadowing him in every regard.
I have been waiting to have LJ have his shining light moments. I feel like this is finally one. It's been a minute since we've seen LJ really just be that solo player, and the reason why FK and Chronic wanted him so bad is because he can outperform just like that. Now, Pioneers are trailing behind with 90 seconds left to go, and the Ultimates rushing in their face. FK from the corner makes the angle and the second touch to double their lead.
Oh, this is absolutely sick. Getting this on target, first of all, or close enough, and then forcing Eris to play it right back to him. First Killer stays with the play and extends the lead now for Ultimates.
Minute 24 to go, and a 2-goal lead is a very favorable position to be in. JNAP's over to Aqua. They caught the Ultimates out, but they outpaced themselves. They make the miss. Eris off the backboard is the wrong play, man. First Killer to score.
That could not have been a worse sequence. Anywhere else, if that ball is put anywhere else along the goal line, it's into the net. It was literally placed at the only point where an Ultimates defender could get back and save it. Absolute heartbreak. JNAP's trying to make the most out of it as he just gets that ball away from harm, and Ultimates just seem to have all the momentum now. Waterfall down, and Aqua's going to send that out to the corner. Things were looking so well for Pioneers, and then all of a sudden, Ultimates have just happened. Chronic nothing in the tank, so he's not going to turn on this ball. And a brief reprieve, but the damage has certainly been done. A massive swing in favor of Ultimates. And you would almost think, certainly, a timeout coming from Pioneers as they try to save their season and JNAP's career.
Respectfully, I would hope that they would call a timeout after this, especially, you know, with how quickly things started to get away from themselves. 15 seconds and 3 goals at this point is basically impossible. So for now, congrats. Maybe one for the road, but even at that, JNAPS can't find his way through, and Pioneers are left scratching their heads with how did we go from keeping up with this team to complete...
2 games down, maybe 2 to go for Ultimates to punch their ticket into the top 6. We will see as we kick it off now for game 3 following the Pioneers timeout. And it's Aqua. Oh, tried to snipe the top side, but hit the crossbar.
And it's a good sign, though, because Aqua was trying to slow it down, and if Pioneers can at least get that opening goal, that's a big confidence booster. But for now, LJ just continues to be a thorn in their side. He has slowed down and stopped everything in their way. Same can be said for Chronic. The pass over to LJ now puts the Ultimates right where they were all along, shooting towards that Pioneer net.
Well, Era's able to pinch this all the way downfield, but first killer not bothered. Demoed by JNAPS, though, and that has thrown off maybe some of the Ultimates defense, but he's right back in. And the one free shot that they got didn't find the mark. Briscoe was trying to decoy there for LJ coming on, and Pioneers are having none of it. Again, it's this first 4 minutes, no problem, as JNAP's shot was a little high. LJ had to push it over the crossbar to be safe. Now Eris for Aqua, it's a little wide. And the accuracy betraying Pioneers just a little bit now over the last, 3 minutes of gameplay.
It's so frustrating, too, because the Pioneers are actually pretty creative with the plays that they are pushing this ball forward. Unfortunately for them, like you said, accuracy just is not on their side, and neither is strength, but that is exactly what the Ultimates are playing with, as LJ tried to take that one all the way in. Not quite, though. Eris had him beat out, and this one clears all the way back into blue, and first killer is not going to be able to recreate that pinch. Not this time. Oh, Pioneers, are still inching forward, but as soon as they take an inch forward on the field, the Ultimates throw them back 50 feet.
Well, JNAPS has been a target. Everybody's been a target in this game. Ultimates, handful of demos. Still haven't broken the scoreless deadlock, though, as JNAP's got the midfield boost, but he centered that ball for first killer, and Aqua can't bail him out. First killer strikes for the Ultimates.
You just keep going. LJ's bump on Aqua, just last defender was not going to be not only there back in time, but at least not awkward. He was very awkward after that bump onto him. A 1-goal lead for the Ultimates now is a very dangerous position for the Pioneers, because this has become much less of a shootout as the series has gone on.
Well, JNAPS tried to throw Chronic off. Got the ball centered. Eris is there, but so too is LJ, who also gets it done on both ends of the field, and he scores this one as well.
You can't stop LJ today. He wants to see Champ Sunday, and he so desperately wants that Birmingham spot, and he's going to try and get them there.
I think if Pioneers drew anybody else, they'd be doing all right today. But Ultimates are on another level, and Eris had to avoid a lot of traffic coming through. First killer will roll this one into an open net. You can see LJ coming across, just got in Eris's way, and Ultimates add to their tally.
This is insane. I mean, at first it felt so much closer, like this was going to be a very back and forth kind of series, but as the Ultimates have gone on, they're just gaining more and more knowledge on the Pioneers, and they're recognizing how almost easy it feels for them to pinball this ball around these 3 players. And they're going to try again here on no boost. First killer still manages to get this one over to Chronic, and he's got a full tank to work with here. JNAP's going to take this one away. Eris all the way upfield, and unfortunately for them, you can't keep throwing this into the hands of the Ultimates.
Well, and unfortunately for Pioneers, they've run into a big problem of boost management. Ultimates have just constantly had more boost in the tank than Pioneers have throughout the series. And eventually that catches up to them. Aqua, though, takes Chronic out of the play, and Eris will just let it go in and give another one to JNAPS.
I mean, it's a good moment to have, right? If you can finally let the Ultimates beat themselves out a little bit. Chronic wanted to go for that challenge on there, and not necessarily unnecessary, but it did take him out of the play entirely. And Pioneers finally have a little bit of hope out in their hands.
Now first killer. Let's take a judge. I was thinking maybe, oh, LJ, he's up and just can't redirect that one home. Would have liked to see them maybe just kind of push that ball in, just that split second faster. You hope that doesn't come back to haunt them, as JNAPS had everything to shoot at, put it right into the teeth of the defense. Didn't have much in the tank to go up with. LJ down to Chronic at first killer. Everybody dives in, and the shot ricochets around just off target. Big break for Pioneers. Can they break out of the zone? Can they punish Ultimates for overextending? No. LJ, first killer, two-man play, and Aqua makes the save.
Right now, things are starting to slow down just a tiny bit, which could be a good sign for the Pioneers if they can collect enough boost to make a strength level play. And LJ, 50 down, first killer to follow it around, 35 seconds on the clock. He makes the pass over to Chronic, but the touch from Eris allows the Pioneers into that blue half. Can they find the hope goal here? Eris on target, first killer out.
Great concentration out of first killer there, covering the options, but there's Aqua with 18 seconds to go off the feed from JNAPS.
I mean, you want hope, it's right there with you. A golden goal to keep the Pioneers in this game, and hopefully one less away from a match point as we go into OT.
Well, they let this go all the way back to first killer, and gonna force Pioneers to burn their boost. Common theme, Chronic blocked by Aqua. It's only LJ at the back, but nobody else could dive onto the ball. They started coming forward a little too late, and LJ puts the final nail in the coffin of game 3.
Your girl was a little too preemptive with the OT. LJ just said no. You give me a centimeter on that backboard, I'll find my way in, I'll give us that lead, and another win on the board. 4-2 with 2 seconds to go. The Ultimates have done it. They are on their way to a potential before. JNAPS, he's looked different. He's done the best he's ever had. He has one more opportunity to show the entire world what he has been made of.
Could be the...
Meet the new McSpicy. With fiery heat inside and out, we've never done spice like this before. Here for a hot time, not a long time. Ba-da-ba-ba.
Last game in the career of JNAPS. Unless they can pull off the unthinkable. JNAPS there to take that away from LJ. Chronic dumping it right back in. Slow them down at every turn. First killer quickly onto this. No, the pinch not followed up in time. And now LJ and Chronic will work downfield again. Every time Pioneers repel them, it's coming right back in as Eris blocks off Chronic. Chronic did steal the corner boost, though. That's not going to hinder Pioneers too much. They do have plenty collectively. Eris circling around at the back waiting, but Aqua's dunk will force Ultimates into action. And a little bit of a scramble as first killer got it away. And back downfield with LJ taking the midfield boost.
Right now, LJ just... I think in this moment you can play time a little bit. For as confident and as precise as they've been, it's not a bad play. Reset over 2, and a touchback still manages to keep this in possession of the Ultimates. And this 50 to the wrong person, right on the nose of Chronic.
You know, sometimes it's just your day that goes right into a perfect spot for Chronic to chase it down. Ultimates have had everything go their way as they try to retire JNAPS. LJ, his shot saved away by Aqua. And now Chronic has Eris coming out of the net to make that save, and LJ blocked away as well. Now, Eris is downfield already. JNAP's waiting for a ball to come out to him, and, well, he had first killer right there. Had to wonder if he was going to try to bump him away from the play or not. Eris making that initial save. And Pioneers can breathe easy for a moment, though they are down here in a game they must win to prolong their life in this split.
I mean, with 3 minutes left to go and 1 goal down, it hasn't been easy to find anything, let alone a shot for this team. Pioneers currently have not a single one registered, but somebody who does, and it feels like they have 1,000,000, is LJ. A full team play. It was FK to Chronic, and Chronic's little play there up on the ceiling just let LJ have the moment to put Ultimates up 2-0.
For all the talk about milestones, you might have to ask D-Rect how close LJ is to hitting some of these milestones. He has been phenomenal. Tongue-in-cheek there. I know he doesn't have nearly the amount of game time as Chronic is going to add another, and Ultimates are running away with game 4.
Right now, those two boys are just trying to make this tally up as quick as possible. And honestly, add to the record. Try and make it as young as you can. 3-0, less than 3 minutes on the clock. This is running away from the Pioneers. They need out of their half. They finally are off the kickoff, and a reset forward denied by Chronic. And first killer and him go right back to where they were, off the backboard, double too wide.
You mentioned before that it almost seems like people have been waiting for LJ to have a game or series like this. I'm kind of waiting for him to be a little more selfish, be a little more proactive on the attack, and boy has he in this series. Aqua takes out first killer, and JNAPS is right there, and there's still some life for Pioneers.
This isn't the end quite yet for this team. JNAPS is going to try his darndest to keep their foot in it. 2:19 to go, you're down by 2 goals. The Pioneers, most of their success usually comes off of the kickoff here, and once again, it goes into that half. It's just about seeing how they follow it up. JNAPS trying to make a center, but Aqua calls himself off as they go all the way back to try and collect and slow things down as the Ultimates head their way.
Chronic is all over this, but it's going to fall freely to, well, first killer had an awkward jump. Looked like he had that ball all the way. LJ and first killer aren't going to connect it. Things are getting really sloppy right now for Ultimates, and the door is open just a little bit. If Pioneers can take advantage of that, they just haven't been able to. First killer over to Chronic, trying to put it away perhaps, but the shot's going to be well high. And now Aqua has JNAPS downfield, kind of battling with first killer. That's going to be a high bounce, tough to get on top of, and Chronic has it away. Nobody home, and Chronic makes it a 4-1 lead.
This unfortunately was not the time to play a little too risky at that point. I think Pioneers were hoping some of the luck that the Ultimates were having would maybe fall into their lap, but unfortunately for them, it all belongs to Chronic, first killer, and LJ. Chronic takes another moment. LJ just takes his time. Flick over one. Chronic in the air. There isn't going to be a bump on one, but still a 3-goal lead with just a minute to go. I mean, they're chilling.
Well, Aqua having that one drifting to the left a little bit. First killer, JNAPS, both in the air, but it's first killer the better of the two. As has been a bit of a theme in this series. First killer has been outstanding. LJ as well. Chronic is having a phenomenal series. He's added quite a bit in this game alone to his tally. And the Ultimates, it all adds up to a well-balanced attack that is going to sink the Pioneers. Chronic hits first killer, and that is the dagger.
41 seconds left on this field in this portion of the season, but I mean the journey continues on for the Ultimates in the best way. They have been waiting, the world has been waiting, their fans have been waiting to see them play to this level of their potential, and it is not a bad foot forward as they try and end this one out. It's 30 seconds, it's clear and gone stacks, but as far as the Pioneers are concerned, and JNAPS in particular, it truly was a valiant effort.
It was a spirited effort out of Pioneers to try and keep this kind of miracle run alive, but they have run into a team that is playing at a very different level. LJ might add one more for the road. Now Chronic's actually going to pop it away, and that is going to do it for this series and the last time we see JNAPS in the competitive sphere.
A crazy, historic career for JNAPS. Man of the hour on the screen. I mean, you can't be too upset. I think as somebody, when you read the tweet, right, it felt like he had kind of come to terms with it and peace with it. And honestly, it was a good last game. It was a good last series and a good last split.